Nilu, are you sure about this? You're taking such a great risk for them.
I'm sure, and I'm going. You know that I don't like to pass up any opportunity to dance, and this one is especially important.
All right. You seem to have a lot of trust in them, so I won't say more on the subject. But if anything happens, the few of us here may not be able to help you.
Don't worry. They've been through worse. Everything's going to be fine.
All right. You know, if you really do get arrested, we'll do everything we can to get you back. Be careful.
Thanks, Mr. Zubair. You're so very kind.
Always remember that your safety comes first. And don't forget that you're the star of Zubair Theater.
Nilu, how's it going? Nervous?
Definitely more than usual. But it's because I'm worried I won't dance well enough.
It's okay. Just focus on your performance. We'll take care of everything else.
You sure know how to talk. Taking all the credit, even though we came here together to help out.
Well, thank you both. I'll have to treat you to a meal after all this ends. I really appreciate all...
Ooh, that sounds great. Huh? How can we say no to that?
All right, let's get back to business. Nilu, we'll be here to keep people from going to the academia so they don't interrupt your performance.
I was planning on telling them something like, the academia has been conducting a weird experiment, and some of their test subjects escaped. It's really dangerous there, so stay away.
Oh, you couldn't think of anything better? Oh well, I guess it does sound like something the academia would do.
I think it sounds great. I'm counting on you guys.
Don't worry, it'll be a piece of cake. You really like to play cool in front of Nilu.
Hey, cut it out. This isn't the time to chat about stuff like that.
Hey, Nilu. Sorry, it's great to see you, but I'm really busy right now. Our Bait People Away with Yalda Candies plan is working beautifully. Do you want some candy? We have more than we can give out.
Vihar, thank you so much for doing all of this. And even dressed up as the Knight of Flowers, no less. I'll pass on the candy, though. I cut back on sweets in the period leading up to a performance, and I'm about to start one.
You have a point. The stage is cleared and everything's ready, so you can start your performance at any time.
Yeah, thanks to you. I'm really grateful.
You're welcome. The honor's all mine, since I'll have such a great view of the show.
I've never seen a performance like this. This is incredible.
Yeah, But I heard that public performances like these have been banned. I can't believe she's doing this here.
Grand Sage, there's some commotion outside.
How uninteresting. Issue the new Prohibition Act from the Akasha to the guards. They'll know what to do.
Do you think we should, like, stop her?
Let's just watch for a little bit longer.
Did you hear that? It sounds like a lot of guards just ran by. Does this mean the plan has moved on to the next stage? Yep. It's great that everything seems to be going well. Come to think of it, when did Alhaitham replace the knowledge capsule that was about to be entered into the Akasha? Oh, so that's when he did it! Paimon was too nervous to notice. Speaking of, didn't Alhaitham also yoink the divine knowledge capsule from that mercenary leader in Port Ormos when it... Oh, it's a time-tested trick of his. Why are we complimenting him? Yeah, he's smart and all, but he still makes Paimon's blood boil. Let's review our plan for this stage again. It's not like we have anything else to do right now anyway, and it'll help us feel more confident. Paimon remembers that Nilu's task was supposed to go a bit like this.
Now that Lesser Lord Kusanali's consciousness has been forcefully sealed, the core figures of the academia and their guards have started to wear their Akasha terminals again. With the doctor's technological support, they think they have nothing to fear.
How despicable of them to rely on such a person.
But this is also our chance. I was originally asked to draft the knowledge capsule for the Artistic Performances Prohibition Act when I was still at the academia. It should be on the Grand Sage's desk right now, and will be entered into the Akasha during the next Nyargarbaha Day.
Are they really going to stop all artistic performances? That's horrible!
I'll make an identical knowledge capsule, but this time, I'll smuggle some misleading information into it. We only need to find an opportunity to switch the capsules. Once it's been entered into the Akasha on Nyargarbaha Day, if someone were to be seen performing in public, the sages would definitely use that opportunity to announce the ban, and so the misleading information will be disseminated amongst the guards.
Sure sounds complicated, but it seems like if everything goes well, we'll be able to get rid of all the guards in the academia without any effort. That's pretty clever, getting right into their heads. I just have one question. Even if we manage to get the misleading info out to the guards, how can we be sure that they'll believe it?
People who are used to relying on the Akasha become less inquisitive, and their ability to distinguish truth from misinformation is significantly reduced. They will view everything the Akasha releases to them as the unequivocal truth.
The Akasha will turn humans into machines. I've seen it happen many times.
Yikes. Good thing I didn't wear it for long when I was working in Sumeru City. At first, I thought it was a good thing too. By the way, this plan still requires a performer, right?
Do you have someone in mind?
Nilu of Zubair Theater. I know her really well. We can trust her. I'm kinda hesitant to ask her to participate in a dangerous plan like this, but we can ask her in person.
All right. After the guards in the academia are gone,
then it'll be time for me and my stowaway brothers to shine. Here they come. Did you see that, Raman? They came out from the academia in droves.
After laying low in the city for so long, this is the moment we've been waiting for.
We couldn't do anything to them inside their coop, but outside the academia, this is our hunting ground.
With a lioness like you, the prey sure won't be able to run far.
We still need to eliminate the guards as soon as possible. If we give the sages enough time to realize what's happening, the plan's doomed.
All they've done is to sit on their cushy salaries and twiddle their thumbs all day while we fought and struggled every day in the desert.
Speaking of which, most of the guards who report directly to the 6 sages belong to the Corps of 30, but they have a completely different reputation. Following those blasted sages every whim, throwing away all the principles of being a mercenary, as someone in the same profession, I'm obligated to teach them a good lesson today.
Indeed, the trap has been set. All we need to do is lead them there.
All right, let's each take a road and herd those scattered guards back into one place. Make sure to attract their attention. Isak will be the key.
You gave such an important task to that child. Will he be okay?
It'll be fine. Isak was so determined to help, so let's put our faith in him. Besides, even if he's caught, the guards would be too scared to do anything to him. They've never seen Lesser Lord Kusanali in person, after all.
You've got a point. Anyway, I think I see them coming. Let's head out.
Good luck.
This outfit.
Hey, do you remember what you need to do, Isak? When the guards get here, you'll pretend to be Lesser Lord Kusanali and run away from them.
Oh, yeah, I remember. Of course I do. I'm just a little nervous.
Relax. Don't think about getting caught. Even if that happens, we won't leave you behind. You only need to think about getting the guards' attention and leading them to the Grand Bazaar. Leave the rest to us.
Okay, got it. I'm here to pay back Lesser Lord Kusanali for helping Grandpa. I won't get cold feet.
Hey, they're here. I can see the academia guards.
All right, it's time, Isak. Take a deep breath and go. You can...
Why is there a guard over there? Did he already run ahead of me? This is different from our plan, but there's no time. I need to make a choice.
Let's have a look behind the house.
What should I do next?
Huh. Looks like nothing's here. A wasted time.
Oh, luckily he didn't check behind the tree. What should I do next? The guard looks alert. What should I do next?
Hey, stop! I saw you. Don't try to run.
The guard looks alert.
Doesn't seem like anything unusual's around here.
Looks like the guard finally left. I need to go.
Hey! Lesser Lord Kusanali is over there! Stop! What? Lesser Lord Kusanali? How did I not notice that?
They found me. This is bad. Where should I go?
The target suspected to be Lesser Lord Kusanali has escaped into the Grand Bazaar. Assemble and arrest her! Where did she go? How did she disappear? Did we lose her? Hurry up and find her!
Hey, why is your team here? Didn't we say to split up our search?
Hurry, hurry! This place is... Why are you all here?
Yeah, isn't it one heck of a coincidence? Everybody's here. What on earth is going on? I suppose that's all of you?
Who are you? Did you set us up? What are you planning?
Phew, that was rough. I almost got caught.
Little brat? So you're not actually Lesser Lord Kusanali. Who exactly are you all? Eremites from the desert?
Just some colleagues. Think of this as a business competition, or a personal grudge. After stepping into our traps, stop thinking of yourselves as hunters. Behave like the prey you are.
An ambush? How's that possible? This is Sumeru City, but mercenaries from the desert somehow ambushed?
You've spent all your time hiding away in the academia. This place has long since become our hunting ground. Brace yourselves!
This is odd. The academia has quieted down after the conclusion of the Niagarbha Day ceremonies, but it's much quieter than usual. Where are the guards? Why have I not seen a single one? Guards? Guards!
Grand Sage, how may I be of assistance?
I called for the guards. Why did you come?
My apologies, Grand Sage. Right now, all Academia guards have entered the city to perform the ordered arrest. I thought you knew.
Arrest? Who is there to arrest? I have an ominous feeling.
Arrest Lesser Lord Kusanali, right? Is that not what the order was?
Lesser Lord Kusanali? You mean she has disappeared?
Yes. I wouldn't dare make up something like that. Right now, everyone is in a panic, and many are saying that Lesser Lord Kusanali will take revenge on us.
What happened? Just what is going on? Lesser Lord Kusanali somehow escaped? Was it Alhaitham and his party that freed her? That's impossible. The Academia is heavily guarded today, and any order to release Lesser Lord Kusanali would be strictly confidential. Besides, Alhaitham and the Traveler are already in our hands. What manner of trickery did they employ? How could Lesser Lord Kusanali disappear into thin air? Disappear? Wait. How was the arrest order distributed to the guards?
It was issued by the Akasha earlier today. Only you have the authority to send messages like that, so I thought it was your order.
Let me check. Lesser Lord Kusanali has escaped from the sanctuary of Surasthana. Go to the city and arrest the escapee immediately. The Akasha indeed contains this information, and it clearly appeared in my mind. How did they bypass my permissions to issue this kind of message? Was it the report about the Traveler that Alhaitham submitted? No. I specifically checked that knowledge capsule before entering it into the Akasha. Could that have been a red herring? Well, even if I figure it out now, it won't make any difference. The important thing now is to confirm Lesser Lord Kusanali's status. Have you been to the sanctuary of Surasthana to confirm that Lesser Lord Kusanali has indeed escaped?
Confirm? No. It may be a bit offensive to say this, but Grand Sage, what you're saying doesn't make any sense. How can the information in the Akasha be inaccurate? What the Akasha decrees is fact. That is common knowledge to all of us. If we have to confirm the information and knowledge from the Akasha ourselves, then how is that any different from us learning that information ourselves? Wouldn't Greater Lord Rukkhadevata's legacy lose its meaning that way?
In the beginning, it was I who asked you to believe in the Akasha, to believe in the legacy left by Greater Lord Rukkhadevata. Are you trying to use my words against me?
No, Grand Sage. I'm merely confused because I believe in you. I never meant to refute you.
Stay here and see if there are any suspicious people around. I'll go to the sanctuary of Surasthana on my own.
Yes, Grand Sage.
Lesser Lord Kusanali has escaped from the sanctuary of Surasthana. Go to the city and arrest the escapee immediately. How can that be? Stop thinking about it. Stop. It must be a trick of theirs. As long as I personally confirm it. Ah! Impossible. That's impossible. There must be something wrong with my eyes.
What a comical sight is our. Once the Akasha has put certain thoughts into your head, even the Grand Sage can no longer see what's right in front of him. You all can only see the world in your mind, the one you think you know. And precisely because of this, you disregarded Lesser Lord Kusanali's existence. She has been a wise and worthy Archon.
Sino, have you been waiting for a chance like this? The Akasha predicted that you would return to the Academia to confront me, but I didn't expect it to turn out like this. I was careless.
No, you were blinded. Your faults stem from your reliance on the Akasha. You're still the same as always.
I truly did not expect a proud person like you to cooperate with Alhaitham and the Traveler.
People change, Azar. Admit it. The Akasha can't predict my actions anymore.
Then tell me, what have you found during your investigation?
You want to buy time? This is the sanctuary of Surasthana. Under your own regulations, even Academia staff are forbidden to come here. As for the investigation, I've at least confirmed that you are guilty of insurgency against the Archon. A serious crime.
So what? Did you do all of this so I would plead guilty in front of you, General Mahamatra?
No. I want you to plead guilty in front of the Archon herself. You once said that I had no standing to judge you. So now, how about judgment in the name of a god?
How long do we have to wait? Paimon wants to know how things are going out there. Paimon hasn't heard any sounds outside for a while. Hopefully something bad didn't happen. Yeah, but aren't you scared that we might be locked up in here for the rest of our lives? Thinking about it, at least Paimon has you. We could still chat like this. When Paimon thinks of Nahida being imprisoned alone in the sanctuary of Surasthana, Paimon can't help but feel sorry for her.
Here comes your savior.
Dia! Paimon just knew you would come to rescue us!
You two really owe me some big thanks. I had to search through who knows how many guards to find the key here. It felt even more tiring than whacking them. I'm exhausted.
Thanks a lot. Need Paimon to rub your shoulders?
No, that's, I'll pass.
What are you afraid of? Oh, are you ticklish?
Now isn't the time to talk about being ticklish. Things in the city and on Sino's side are both going well. The guards that stormed out of the academia are all taken care of. The Corps of 30 is in charge of the city's defenses, but we already talked to Asfand. They've been fed up with the sages bossing them around. As long as it doesn't break their employment contracts, they'll turn a blind eye.
That's probably because you've been super great friends with them for a long time. So, how's Sino doing?
The Grand Sage is in his custody. Even I know how terrible it is to fall into Sino's hands, so he probably does too. Sino forced him to release Lesser Lord Kusanali. He has no choice but to obey. So, hurry to the sanctuary of Surasthana. Assuming nothing weird happened, we should have already rescued our Archon. Honestly, I didn't expect our ragtag bunch to do this well. We just came together last minute to save the Archon, you know? All right, you two better go. I still have to clean up some messes in the city. See you around.
They say it's nice to meet you. This is the first time we've met in real life. Before, we've only met in dreams, consciousness, or when I was in someone else's body. Thank you so much for coming to rescue me, but I also need to apologize. During this time, I did some self-reflection. My sense of inferiority and yielding to the academia led to all of this, and created so much trouble for you all.
Exactly! We're here because you're a good Archon and one of our friends!
Thanks, you two. Amazing. So this is how it feels to walk out of that cage with my own body. It's like I just had an endlessly long dream. I can't even tell if I just woke up or was only now born into this world. My concept of self has become so clear. But now doesn't seem to be the time to indulge in this feeling. This is really embarrassing. You all just rescued an Archon, and now she needs your help to save her country, and even the entire world.
It's okay. With you here, Paimon's sure that everything will work out.
There's one more thing.
What is it?
For all the things the academia did to me, and for all the folly it committed in the name of wisdom, as their Archon, I will make them pay.
Ah! Wow! That's the spirit! You're finally standing up for yourself and not letting people walk all over you!
I understand now. To be a better Archon, I first need to better myself. If you haven't even figured out how to be a caterpillar, how can you be a butterfly? Yes, true. That reminds me. I wonder how far along the academia is with their God creation plan. We need to hurry and prevent the birth of that false god. I need to make some preparations. Since I'm now free, I can establish a direct link to the Akasha and control it. First things first, I need to remove the restrictions that the doctor put on me in the Akasha. After that, I'll make some adjustments and revoke the sage's permissions. The Akasha will then be like how it originally was. After all, the Academia betrayed Greater Lord Rukkhadevata's trust. This might take some time. In the meantime, you should also work on your own preparations. If we don't stop the God creation plan in time, we'll be in for a tough fight. We might as well prepare for a fight. When we're done, we can take a walk around.
Time to go. Time to go.
The blonde-haired traveler? How did you come out from the sanctuary of Surasthana? It's normally forbidden to enter that place.
Sorry, we don't know the rules here.
It's fine, just pay more attention next time. Anyway, I'm looking for Grand Sage Azar. Have you seen him? The more I think about it, the more I believe there's something fishy about Alhaitham's return. I need to let the Grand Sage know somehow.
You're finally starting to put two and two together.
Time to go.
How's it going, Nahida? I'm done with the parts that needed my involvement to complete. Although it's my first time working with the Akasha like this, its internal structure and operation procedures are easy for me to understand. Greater Lord Rukkhadevata's design is truly brilliant. Oh, also, this is for you. Huh? What's this little floaty thingy? It's a small device I put together just now. You can think of it as an upgraded Akasha terminal. You may not need it right now, but it should be helpful in certain situations. Wait! This thing has the same characteristics as Paimon! We're both small things that float! Oh, all the things that make Paimon special got copied! When Paimon appears with the Traveler from now on, people... It's alright, Paimon. It can't replace you. It's only a flying device, but you're the Traveler's irreplaceable friend. You're so good at comforting people, Nahida. If only the Traveler was as smart as you. I was simply telling you what I feel to be the truth. I wasn't trying to comfort you. Nahida, you're natural at this. What you just said made Paimon even happier. By the way, there's something I need to confess. Even though I'm the Archon and in control of myself again, I'm not very good at fighting. You may have heard that an Archon's power is derived from their people's faith. However, I'm not as well loved as Greater Lord Rukkhadevata. If we get into a situation where combat is our only option, I'll have to count on you, and I'll do my best to provide support. I'm glad I can rely on you. So the god of wisdom isn't good at fighting? That actually sounds about right. I've located where the false god is. Time is of the essence, so let's skip to it.
Time to go.
We can do this!
What is this place? Is this really the way we need to go? Wow. Who would have thought there'd be a place like this hidden right slap bang in the middle of the city? The sages wanted to realize their god creation plan without being discovered. The safest and most convenient way would be to build within the academia itself. That's true. They were already hiding one god, so why not two? Judging from the structure here, the project is a huge undertaking. The sages really saw the god creation plan as their ultimate goal. But this place doesn't look like it could have been constructed by the academia alone. The Fatui under the doctor sure didn't hold back. They provided a lot of technological support.
Yeah, or else they wouldn't have been that generous.
Is that it, though? I've always felt that this doctor is different from the academia sages. He doesn't seem to share their sense of urgency. Instead of being interested in the end product, it's like he's enjoying the experimental process.
The Fatui Harbingers are all such weirdos. So, the doctor being weird is actually normal.
So, this Fatui that they're trying to turn into a god is called the Balladeer? We had previously come into contact with his consciousness. He harbors particularly strong obsessions. One is the desire for a gnosis, since he was created to be the vessel for one. The other obsession is probably related to his past. I can't quite explain it.
Paimon knows that he was a prototype puppet for the Raiden Shogun before he became a Fatui Harbinger. That's why he wants a gnosis so badly. There's no way he'd willingly be a test subject. Now with that temper and ego of his.
It sounds like you know the Balladeer quite well. I see. Tell me more about him and what he's like. The more we know now, the better we can plan for and react to any future situation. Ah, I see. How fascinating. All right, time to go. Let's get through here and meet him in person.
I'll protect us. Come on, we can do it.
Let's end this quickly.
Inazuma shines eternal.
This isn't good. Space and time will break you.
Illusion shattered.
Bound. My work finished.
It looks like think we can climb up these pipes. The pattern on the ground seems all messed up. Let's go around and see if there's a way to fix it. Let's dance.
Let's nip that in the bud.
Torn to oblivion.
Frozen. Crest, you'll get frostbite.
I'll protect us.
It's time for a flash for that.
One with the forest.
Shine down.
Wind strike.
Pay your dues.
Illusion shattered. Now you shall perish.
Can't run from death.
The cart is stuck. Maybe there's something wrong with the tracks. Let's try adjusting the direction of the device to clear the tracks.
Follow the wind.
Shine down.
Shroud! There is no escape! The wind knows
Some quiet. Stay right there.
Torn to oblivion! I'll uproot you! Can't see? Wind strike! Illusion shattered!
I guess this is it.
Into the wind!
Killjoy, we've only just begun.
Now you shall perish!
I see through you. I'd run. This calculated.
Let's nip that in the bud!
Let the show begin.
There is no escape! As one with wind and cloud! Torn to oblivion!
The world remains constant over the centuries, but human life is like the dew at dawn, or a bubble.
Looking at its operational status, we must prepare for the worst. The god they wanted to create is likely close to completion or already completed.
Oh no! What should we do? Paimon can't imagine how hard it would be to fight against a Fatui Harbinger with a Gnosis!
Are you nervous, Paimon?
If you really want to know, of course Paimon's nervous! Aren't you too, Nahida?
Yes, I am. This is probably the first time I faced with a calamity of this degree since my birth. I feel not just nervous, but curious as well.
Curious? Curious about what?
Curious about our fate. To me, everything we perceive in this world, everything we learn, and everything that happens to us is considered knowledge. And if it's a form of knowledge, then it can be understood. However, only fate is about that which has yet to occur. So to me, fate is the ultimate knowledge. That's also why I love observing humans and all the things that happen to them. It all brings me great satisfaction. And now, at long last, I'm not just an observer anymore. I will personally experience my own fate with you by my side. Isn't this such a wonderfully exciting thing?
Ah, so that's what you mean. Paimon thinks she understands what you're feeling.
Agreed. Okay, let's continue on. I can sense his aura from here.
Who would have thought the world would be so eager for my birth? I remember you, Booer, the god of wisdom, and standing beside you, the traveler.
Is he all-knowing and powerful now like Greater Lord Rukkhadevata? No, I can't feel the same kind of divinity I felt from the Greater Lord. It seems that the sages didn't get the chance to infuse the divine knowledge capsules into him. But even still, he has undoubtedly become a true god now. So we're too late? The Balladeer has already become a god?
The Balladeer. A long bygone title. When my spirit ascended to divinity, I felt as if I had existed for the same number of epochs as heaven and earth. Looking back, the existence of what once called itself Kunikazushi appears infinitely small and ugly.
This imposing aura, it really feels like the gods! A body that capitalizes on the Balladeer's original construction as a mechanical puppet, with the Gnosis serving as a constant power supply. How much effort and resources did the sages put into this? From a purely technological perspective, it's a commendable achievement indeed. It's no exaggeration to say, this is the culmination of human wisdom.
You sure are something! Dishing out compliments at a time like this?
But I don't think he's reached the spiritual height of a god.
Strife is engraved upon every god and every gnosis brought forth into this world. Can you feel it? The exhilaration of such power and the thrill of anticipation for our contention.
Nahida wouldn't feel the same things as you!
Do you not realize that you are interrupting a conversation between gods? Lowly creature, know your place.
The strife engraved upon a gnosis. You're talking about the Archon War. Tevat's current peace was not easily won. I didn't personally participate in the Archon War, but the way I see it, all those losses were meaningless, driven by the demands of the laws. There's no point in bringing it up again.
Is that so? Yet I am deeply disappointed that I was never allowed the fortuity to personally participate in the Archon War. This is a first. Encountering a god in this world who does not crave power. No wonder your own people have abandoned you, god of wisdom. Your judgment is as your existence, unsubstantial. This is where everything ends, Booer, the god of wisdom. You should know that wisdom cannot solve every problem. Like now, where your only option is to face me in combat. Come. Let us reenact a scene of the Archon War. Come and inaugurate my birth as a god. Churn!
I'll protect
I hear everything! Enshroud!
Perish!
Insignificant pest!
Shine down!
Can't see?
At my command, you shall fall!
Illusion shattered!
Fallen leaves, adorn my night!
Now you shall perish! Shine down! Illusion shattered.
Let the show begin. Ready,
Perish!
Wow.
Pile of root!
Absurd. Shine down.
My endless cycle begins! One with the forest! I'll bury you!
Let's dance.
To oblivion!
Go, Barbara, go.
Tremble!
There is no escape.
Kneel! Reality is pain! This is supposed to be a battle between gods, yet you choose to hide behind a mortal. And now, you're acting like you'd sacrifice yourself for a human. Are you having fun proving a false sense of heroism to yourself, booer?
The data collection is almost complete. Do you even know how many times you've tried to take my gnosis from me? We just concluded the 168th loop. Did you know that in the effort to create you, the people of Sumeru were forced to live through the exact same number of Sub-Zerus festivals and samsara cycles?
The power of dreams. When did you use it on me? You can't even defeat me in a dream. What do you hope to achieve with this little trick?
Come, traveler. Just like before. Allow me to awaken the memories in your dreams.
All that battle experience!
It's more than that. Compile everyone's wisdom in the name of the Archon. That is the original function of the Akasha. I've sent everything that happened just now to the people of Sumeru in the form of knowledge. I've asked them to help you find a way to defeat the false god. Now, all of Sumeru's wisdom is at your disposal.
Meaningless tricks won't save you. Are you done with your tricks? Can I finally take this as a real battle between gods?
I'll leave this to you, the first sage of Booer.
I am the all-knowing god.
Make yourselves at home. Grow, grow, grow. I'll protect us.
Burn to oblivion! Let's nip that in the bud. Tremble!
Shine down! Inazuma shines eternal!
Kneel! One with nature.
Illusion shattered!
Reality is pain! One with the farce! Burn to oblivion! Kneel! Good riddance, cruel world. Keep up.
Shine down!
One with wind and cloud. Wind strider.
Illusion shattered!
Possible.
Shine down! Now you shall perish! There is no escape!
I'll uproot you. Wind strike.
Share my knowledge.
Keep up. Can't see. Reality is pain. Humans. Filthy humans. Please! Anything but the Gnosis! That's mine! Don't even try! I'll never go back!
We haven't yet found the answer to the most important mystery. Irminsul is still waiting to be saved. With the power of another Gnosis, we may now finally understand the last memory of Greater Lord Rukkhadevata.
This is...
That's right. This is the last memory of my predecessor.
This sure seems very different from what Paimon imagined. Shouldn't Irminsul be in this realm of consciousness?
Yes, that is our destination. But I didn't expect the remaining consciousness of Greater Lord Rukkhadevata to be as polluted as this. Forbidden knowledge? It seems you know about a concept that even I don't completely understand. Could you tell me what you know? Your inference seems logical enough. Forbidden knowledge once polluted the desert thousands of years ago, but was successfully repelled thanks to King Deshret's self-sacrifice, and Greater Lord Rukkhadevata nearly exhausting her power. Then, a second instance of forbidden knowledge pollution occurred during the Conria Cataclysm 500 years ago, but I'm afraid it is much more serious this time, with Irminsul itself already in danger.
So, if we're in the remaining consciousness of Greater Lord Rukkhadevata, and it's also been affected by forbidden knowledge pollution, then does that mean, in order to save us, Greater Lord Rukkhadevata?
Yes. It's very possible that she sacrificed her life in the fight against forbidden knowledge. She didn't completely eradicate forbidden knowledge, but if it weren't for her actions, the pollution would have been far more rampant over these past 500 years. The way that everyone, including me, has forgotten everything about forbidden knowledge may very well be due to her restoration of Irminsul.
Do you feel sad, Nahida?
I'm just sharing her pain. The pollution of her consciousness here is severe. There is madness, chaos, and pain all around us. Did she fight to resist the forbidden knowledge pollution in such terrible conditions, all the way up to her last breath? She even used her last remnant of lucid consciousness to leave a clue for us to follow. Yes, her words were distorted by forbidden knowledge, so that's all we could hear. But now, we have a chance to find the answer to this mystery. We can cross the polluted consciousness until we found the right path to meet with her lucid consciousness. And then, we'll let Greater Lord Rukkhadevata tell us the truth in person. Each of us need to be mindful of the state of our own consciousness while we are here. Even with the Gnosis' protection, we must always keep a clear mind. Otherwise, we could go mad at any moment.
That's so scary.
Don't worry. It should be easy enough for you to keep that mind of yours clear, Paimon. Let's go.
Are we in the air? And why is there a huge boat?
That's the boat of consciousness, which symbolizes reason here. Its course is the direction our consciousness is traveling towards. If we lose control over our consciousness...
Wow! What are these? The monsters seem to have been affected by them.
Can't see?
Insolent.
I hear everything!
Shine down.
Time to go.
One with the forest.
There is no escape. Torn to oblivion.
Wind strike. Let's nip that in the bud.
Shine down.
One with nature.
Illusion shut.
Clouds high. The birds call.
Look! A four-leaf sigil has appeared in the sky!
There is no escape. Inazuma shines eternal. Shine down.
The witch knows me. Captain Ground. I hear everything. Into the wind.
There is no escape.
Keep up. One with nature. Fallen leaves, adorn my night!
Now you shall perish.
I'll approve.
Shine down.
Can't see?
To control the boat of consciousness, we need to find the helm first. We changed direction. Are we still going the right way, Nahida?
Mm-hmm. Judging from the current route, the boat of consciousness will soon take us out of here. We'll be arriving at our destination soon. How are you feeling? Are your minds still intact?
Huh? But everything's been completely normal for Paimon.
Hopefully there won't be any more interruptions. This time, we should be able to meet Greater Lord Rukkhadevata.
Are you saying you've never met Greater Lord Rukkhadevata before?
No. It seems that my birth and her death took place at the same time. Otherwise, I think she would have given me a little more guidance, and I could have done a better job.
Hey, you've done a great job, Nahida. Let's get out of this creepy place and go meet her. So, is this the place you were talking about? The base of Irminsul?
Well, this is the place.
We're here to find Greater Lord Rukkhadevata, right? But the one standing over there is...
Is that... me? She looks exactly like me. Are you Greater Lord Rukkhadevata?
Yes, that's me. Are you surprised by my appearance? Irminsul and the surrounding lands have been reproduced here as they were years ago. But this is just a realm of consciousness. We are manifestations of the same nature. Hence why we would appear exactly the same.
We're of the same nature.
Because you are me, and I am you. You are me in the new samsara.
The new samsara?
As Greater Lord Rukkhadevata, I'm the avatar of Irminsul. And you are the purest branch snapped from Irminsul. Imagine it this way. Even if a tree dies, its branches will eventually take root and grow, continuing the tree's life in another form. I'm merely the remaining consciousness of Greater Lord Rukkhadevata. The real me has presumably died a long time ago. Judging from your appearance, I've probably been dead for 500 years. But you're finally here. My new self in the samsara.
If this is true, then am I going to be a great archon like you someday?
Though we share the same nature, our fates are bound to be different. All things have their own fate. When a branch grows into a mature tree, it won't be the same as the original tree.
That's why fate is the ultimate knowledge, isn't it?
That's a great insight. Yes, very good. It's also precisely why you won't become like me.
Really?
But perhaps you may become an even greater archon than I. I already see a determination in you that I didn't possess in my time,
and the future that it leads you to will be yours alone, along with the blessings from your past experiences. Don't worry, the growth of wisdom is like that of a plant. You only need to wait quietly for the flower to bloom.
Come to think of it, the sages never had the faintest inkling of the meaning of wisdom.
Thank you. Nothing makes me happier than discovering that the Archon I always admired was in fact myself in another fate. It's so nice to speak with you, Greater Lord Rukkhadevata. I've always wanted to meet you.
The feeling is mutual. From the moment I snapped the branch off Irminsul and created you, I've also looked forward to talking with you.
Could you tell me why you wanted to create me? And what exactly happened when you died?
Ah, I see. You're here seeking answers, right? Everything that day, even the sky itself, changed into a color like this. At that time, the seven were all summoned to the nation of Conria. Except for me. I had a more important task to attend to. I had to protect Irminsul. The disaster occurred together with the pollution of forbidden knowledge. At that very moment, with my consciousness connected to Irminsul, the pain started to torment my mind. By the time I reached Irminsul, it was already displaying signs of corruption. Had I not repelled the pollution of forbidden knowledge with King Deshret thousands of years ago, I might have felt even more hopeless and lost.
So what exactly is forbidden knowledge?
It's a kind of knowledge that doesn't belong to this world, and a form of truth that can't be understood. It came from the very bottom of the abyss. Even I could never understand it. The world is constantly rejecting it, leading to all kinds of bad phenomena. If we allow forbidden knowledge to pollute Irminsul, I'm afraid the entirety of Tevat could fall apart.
So, there's knowledge that even the God of Wisdom can't understand?
At that time, I knew I couldn't repel the forbidden knowledge with my strength alone. Which is why I created a device that compiled human wisdom and named it the Akasha.
It's truly the world's most amazing invention.
Thank you. For a long time, I thought dreams were the fruit of human wisdom. Though it was selfish to do so, I borrowed people's dreams using the Akasha. Then I compiled their wisdom and all of my own power.
Well, did it work?
Thanks to the wisdom of the people of Sumeru, almost all the forbidden knowledge was cleared from Irminsul. But things didn't go as smoothly as I thought. I had a terrible headache, which gave me an uneasy feeling. And then I remembered that my consciousness was also connected with Irminsul. It brought me knowledge and wisdom, but vile corruption as well. From the very beginning, my existence had been polluted by the forbidden knowledge.
Oh no! How could that happen?
I've experienced that pain in your consciousness. It must have been a horrible experience.
Yes, but my feelings weren't important. The important thing was that even if I died, my existence and everything related to me would continue to exist in Irminsul as memories and knowledge, meaning that the forbidden knowledge couldn't ever be permanently eradicated. And there's no way for me to eliminate myself. So, I took the purest branch of Irminsul as my incarnation in the next samsara and left a trail of clues, all in hopes that you would come here and remove me and my pollution from Irminsul forever.
Wait, no, I can't.
So you realize what that implies? You are very smart indeed. Irminsul has all the knowledge and memories of this world. And as you've realized just now, removing me from Irminsul means I essentially will never have existed in this world. But this is the only way to save Irminsul.
People love you so much, and they've missed you so much over the past 500 years. I am exactly the same. How can we just forget you like this? Is there really no other way? There must be something else I can do.
You're the god of wisdom, Booer. You should know that there is no other way.
But this is so cruel. I don't want to forget you.
No need to feel so sad, Booer. As someone who delights in wisdom, you should feel joy at finally finding the answer. These are the words in their entirety. The answer you've been seeking all along. Let the world completely forget me. We all nestle under the great tree of wisdom, peering out to perceive the world. From the earth and from the rain, we perceive its wonders until we become a white bird to perch atop a branch and finally snap off the most important leaf. Once upon a time, I alone dreamed in this world. In my dreams, everybody would also dream after they fell asleep. Wild and wonderful thoughts would emerge from their minds. Some tumbled to the ground, and others floated to the sky, connecting all things in the world into one dazzling net. Among a plethora of worlds were numerous smaller worlds, all of fate, finding within the tapestry their brilliant glow. I gradually understood that these indescribable and constantly changing things are the most profound things in the world. Only they can completely repel the madness. Only dreams can awaken consciousness from the deepest darkness. I'm the one who posed this question, yet also the one who sought a solution. Saving the world with the dreams of the people used to be my answer. And now, you've also found your own answer, and I shall return all the dreams to the people. Goodbye, people of Sumeru. May you be blessed tonight with the sweetest of dreams.
I'm alright. I'm just a little confused. We've just saved the world, right? So why am I crying? I don't know where this feeling inside of me is coming from, but I feel very sad. Just now, we used the power of two gnosis to successfully connect with the Irminsul consciousness from 500 years ago. Then we removed the remaining pollution from Irminsul.
Yeah, what's wrong? Weren't you there just now? Huh? That sound. Traveler, Paimon!
I've been waiting here far too long. But finally I have the chance to be alone with you. All the precious time I wasted has finally paid off.
The doctor! What have you done?
Just a type of sound wave that can quickly put defenseless people into a dream. As I expected, it doesn't have any effect on gods. This is the only thing of interest I found among the sage's research. I thought I'd take it for a little spin. Don't worry. I know you would never forgive me if I actually killed them. I'm here to negotiate with you. Naturally, I won't do anything dangerous that could potentially damage our relationship.
Negotiate with me? I heard you had already left Sumeru. Why are you here again now?
I left Sumeru, but I also stayed in Sumeru. Even the god of wisdom is restricted by the habits of cognition. How disappointing.
You mean there are many different versions of you in this world?
An astute guess. Even the same individual will have different cognitions at different ages. A long time ago, I made a major decision in hopes of preserving all my perspectives of how I observe the world. Observation is the first step of any experiment, but observing the current world doesn't satisfy me. It lacks an important dimension, that of time. So I saved segments of all my ages and made them into independent individuals. That's all there is to it. Indulge me. How does the God of Wisdom find my method of seeking knowledge?
It's an insult to the very concept of life. Life inherently has many rules and restrictions, each with its own significance and reason to exist. They can't be broken on a whim.
Good. Amazing, even. Indeed, it's difficult for humans to make peace with themselves, not to mention oneself from a different period.
Since you were in the academia, why wait until now to show up? You could very well have stopped us and helped that fake god.
Simple. Let me ask you this. Would any staff member ever help the subject in the middle of an experiment? It was my experiment. So why should I interfere with the results?
The academia saw the plan to create a god as their ultimate goal, yet you only saw it as an ordinary experiment. You really are crazy. If the experiment succeeded, you would have had a new god on your hands. How would you have faced your own god then? Would you still take the same stance? Would you still hold the same view of yourself?
I'm first and foremost a scholar. These results should be left to the judgment of the hypothetical me confronted with that outcome. But you're right. And that's exactly why I'm disappointed with the conclusion of this experiment.
As an individual, you don't have any sense of belonging. You seem to have even fewer convictions than a typical scholar.
Oh no, I certainly have my own convictions. They just don't fit your standards, that's all. All right, that's enough conversation for today. The experiment is over, and it's time to tidy up the equipment and reclaim any useful materials. For example, the Gnosis. Lesser Lord Kusanali, you're an intelligent Archon. I'm sure you understand the disparity in our combat abilities at this time. Besides, you have no way to use that Electro-Gnosis in battle.
Didn't you say you were here to negotiate with me?
Somehow, it's starting to seem like you intend to take it by force now.
I'm merely stating a fact. After all, I'm also a scholar. Naturally, I hope to show proper respect and dignity to the God of Wisdom.
Your hypocrisy is built on absolute confidence. I understand your scheme, but... what if I were to destroy the Gnosis now and awaken the heavenly principles?
Awaken the heavenly principles? Do you think that's really possible?
The heavenly principles have been silent for many years, but the Gnosis are symbols of their control over Teyvat and all the laws. Will the destruction of a Gnosis attract the attention of the heavenly principles? And if so, how do the Fatui plan to deal with the consequences? Do you dare to gamble such a possibility with me?
Gamble? How surprising. I thought you would show evidence or use rigorous reasoning to prove your point. The word gamble is the last thing I expected to hear from the God of Wisdom. But this is a clever move. You must have seen through me when I first captured your consciousness. As a scholar, I respect all possibilities. This has always been my principle and is an essential trait as an experimenter. Indeed, I can't ignore this possibility. So tell me then, what are your conditions?
This foreign Gnosis will only lead to disaster if it stays in Sumeru. But this Electro-Gnosis is the prize I obtained after defeating one of your fellow Harbingers. Now, as the one who initiated this cascade of events, shouldn't you pay the corresponding price?
Price? Interesting. What price would you have me pay?
How about erasing all your other segments?
So this is how you wish to restrict me, the most threatening opponent of the Nation of Wisdom. What you request of me is like plucking out the eyes I have placed in the dimension of time. Segments are extraordinarily difficult to make. They require extremely rare resources and enormous amounts of time and effort, requiring me to destroy them all here and now. Yes, how very interesting. Can I assume that you have long been wary of me? Among all the versions of me, this segment you see now is the most selfish. If it weren't me, your idea wouldn't have worked. What did you see when you were imprisoned? You were observing me, and that's how you know I've long grown tired of their doubts and endless argument.
Like you said, it's difficult to make peace with yourself. Being as smart as you are, have you managed to do that?
I see. If you think all those versions of me are worth a gnosis, then deal.
You sure didn't hesitate much. Is the relationship between all the versions of you really that bad?
I don't think there's any need to dwell on that. The surplus versions of me can be exchanged for a gnosis. Do you think anyone can offer themselves at a higher price? Besides, with my abilities, it's only a matter of time until I find better perspectives. Perhaps it's best to say, you're just temporarily ahead. But what I'd like to know is, how can you be sure that I've really erased them?
I can see your remaining honesty.
What a ridiculous decision! You can't be serious!
How could I have been so short-sighted?
You think this is the end? Wait, I'll have it. Please wait.
You'll make
Good
this moment
riddance.
count.
You will regret this.
Well, have you confirmed that it's complete?
Here, take it. The future of Sumeru City will be in my hands alone. I will shut down the Akasha and let curiosity and the thirst for knowledge drive the realm of academics once again. There won't be any further gaps for you to exploit.
It truly pains me that my academic achievements have never been appreciated in my homeland. Of course, I have no interest in being rejected by this city for a third time. Another chess piece. And where is your dendronosis?
Don't be greedy, Harbinger of Snezhnaya.
No, this is a different transaction. If you intend to turn off the Akasha anyway, then there's no further use for the Gnosis of Sumeru. Besides, isn't it the Archon's duty to deliver what's desired of the Seeker? Oh, judging from your expression, you don't seem to find the idea very agreeable. Then let's think of it this way. Since you're the god of wisdom, how about I exchange some knowledge with you?
People exchanging knowledge with the god of wisdom is the stuff of legends. Yet here you wish to exchange knowledge for the god of wisdom's property. Arrogant as that is, it has piqued my interest.
Let me ask you, have you in all your mighty knowledge ever heard the rumor that the skies of Tevat are fake?
Huh?
That's the secret hidden by Ermin's soul concerning the truth of this world. Once I finish telling you about this, it will be time for me to say goodbye. With negotiations, we've all gotten what we wanted. I'm very glad I got to meet you like this.
Your arrogance may know no bounds, and convictions may mean nothing to you. But I'll still listen to what you have to say. Okay. Are you awake? Kali says it's time for breakfast. Come on, get up! Good morning! How are you feeling today? Good to hear. It looks like we've recovered pretty well. Not even Tainari could stop us from going out now, right? Traveler, let's go! Good morning! Looks like you're awake. Yep. I prepared some breakfast today. Please have a taste. It's nice to have you here so we can eat something yummy. Well, now that I've recovered from Elazar, I'm feeling better than ever. I can even prepare 4 or 5 meals a day now. And Paimon bets they're all delicious. Oh, by the way, someone brought a letter for you after you went to sleep last night. No, Paimon wanted to read the letter with you after you woke up. So, it's from Milu. Ahem. We're going to hold a feast at the Grand Bazaar and celebrate Saino's reinstatement as the General Mahamatra.
As heroes of Sumeru, please be sure to attend. I'll wait for you. The date of the banquet is written on the back. It's in 2 days.
Oh, I've also heard that you become heroes here as well. That's amazing. Everyone's aware of your abilities. There's no need to be modest.
Anyway, let's go to the Grand Bazaar to have a look.
Oh, before you leave, be sure to inform Master Tainari. Everything has been getting better lately, and my mood has been improving as well. You can come find me anytime if you need anything. You're welcome. I was just doing my duty. Remember to talk to Master Tainari before you leave.
Good morning. How do you feel today?
We feel much better. How about you?
I'm recovering well. Thanks for asking.
But from the looks of it, you seem to be already busy with work again.
It's fine. I'm not that busy, really. The Elazar patients have recovered, as well as Hypatia. For now, I only need to tend to my Forest Watcher duties.
It seems once Irminsul started getting better, everything else started to recover too.
Yes, but there are still some residual effects. The withering is one example. Though it won't spread anymore, the existing zones won't just disappear. We forest rangers will still need to do the work.
By the way, we have some good news. Sino got his position back.
This news is hardly new. He had already mentioned it to me before.
Huh? You mean he was already here? Why didn't he come to say hi to us?
He visited once, but he was afraid of disturbing you while you were resting. He just asked me a few questions and left.
Then you probably already know all about the celebration feast.
Celebration feast? No, I haven't heard anything about that.
Huh? But didn't Nilu say in her letter that they would celebrate Sino? He didn't tell you?
Perhaps, or alternatively, he doesn't know about it either.
Come to think of it, Sino doesn't seem like the type who'd enjoy a celebration feast. You and Kale are both Sino's close friends. Why don't you come to the feast with us?
Kale has taken over some of my tasks these days. I don't think she'll have time for it. Not to mention me. You see, some VIPs have come to the forest recently.
Huh? VIPs?
Well, technically speaking, they are former VIPs. The sages involved in recent incidents have begun their training in the Avidya forest, and the people they had previously imprisoned have all been released.
Huh?
Yes, he's a little weak, but he isn't injured and his condition is stable. Lesser Lord Kusanali, in her boundless mercy, has decided to spare Azar and the other wrongdoers. Supposedly, they were ashamed of their shallow ideologies and have decided to dedicate the rest of their lives to cultivating wisdom in the Avidya forest. When they learned that Lesser Lord Kusanali had defeated the Balladeer and saved Irminsul, they were shocked at first, but also became happy, feeling that the sacred light guiding them on the path of discovering wisdom had begun to shine once again. As a result, work has increased for the forest rangers.
That sounds really exhausting.
There's nothing we can do, really. But that's another topic. Back to the matter at hand. Are you two planning to head out?
Ah, right! We're here to request permission to head out. Would that be okay?
You've recovered well. You may go, but be careful.
Yay! Will do!
Is there anything else you'd like to ask about? Ah, yes. Thanks for remembering her. She continued her training in the forest after she recovered. As a scholar, she never slacks off. A lot has happened lately. Kale and I have been busy, but don't worry, we'll take care of ourselves. As for Sino's reinstatement, the more I think about it, the more I suspect that he just doesn't have a single clue about this feast. But this does remind me that Kale and I should find an opportunity to celebrate him as well. He has helped me a lot during this time. And you as well. Thank you. Take care. Please, find me if you need anything.
The rainforest is the best place to live.
Well, there won't be any problems if the feast starts at that time. Everything has already been prepared.
Mr. Zubair, I finished tallying things up here. Well, except for the guests.
Is a simple reply really that much to ask of our guests? It's affecting our arrangements.
Oh, it'll be fine. Besides, it never hurts to get things ready in advance.
I was thinking the same thing. The feast will be held sooner or later, right?
Hey, Nilu!
Traveler, Paimon!
We got your letters, so here we are!
You're the best! The other guests haven't even replied yet.
Huh? Are we the only ones that have arrived?
Yeah. I had someone deliver letters to all of our guests.
Look, I get it. Sumeru is in an extremely important period of transition right now, but even if your friends are important figures, they shouldn't just ignore your request like this. Nilu is Sumeru's #1 celebrity, after all. You have no idea how happy I am to talk to people with good taste.
If you consider enjoying Nilu's dances having good taste, then almost everybody has good taste. Because Paimon thinks everybody will love her performance.
That's right. We all think she's amazing too. Nilu is an absolute favorite among those of us who frequent the Grand Bazaar. For Outlanders, you have a great eye. Master Zubair, let's have a vote for the most outstanding audience members next time. I think these two may win.
Nonsense. It is not for us to determine the value of an audience. But indeed, we could try giving gifts to people with particularly good taste. I heard there's a device in Fontaine called a camera that can record people's appearances as pictures.
Ooh, good idea. I wonder where we can find one.
I don't want you giving pictures of me to everyone. I'm satisfied just being able to perform here.
There's always a lot going on at the Grand Bazaar.
Yeah, and that's why I love it here. Traveler and Paimon, could you help confirm if the letters were actually delivered? If for some reason they didn't receive the letters, then please tell everyone that there will be a feast here.
Yeah, we can also check out how everything in Sumeru is going now.
When I wrote the letters, I heard that Dia was in Port Ormos, and Alhaitham was at the Academia. As for Sino, we've only heard that he appears at the Academia from time to time. I'm not too sure about Rahman's whereabouts. My guess is that he's with Dia. As for Dunyarzad, I just hope she's feeling better. I sent her a letter, but I was afraid of disturbing her. If you...
Okay, got it. Let's go, Traveler.
I'll go to the Adventurers Guild later and ask Ms. Catherine if she knows how to get one of those cameras.
Yes, please do. I'm sure the audience would be thrilled at the chance of receiving commemorative gifts. It could be our special surprise that we prepare for everyone.
I think it's an amazing idea. Who knows? If we take more pictures, they might even become the signature souvenir of the Grand Bazaar.
And Nilu will become even more famous. Ha! It won't be long till people are fighting for front row at your performances.
I've heard that this camera is not just something anyone can use as they please. It must be aimed properly, and subjects should pose for the best results.
Oh, should we get ready then? Perhaps we should wear something a little more appropriate.
No. I think we look absolutely fine. If anything, when we pose for this, clever invention, we should just be ourselves,
You really think so?
We haven't seen Alhaitham anywhere. Let's ask that person over Ahem. Hey there, have you seen Al-Haytham around?
Yes, it seems Scribe Al-Haytham has gone to the House of Dana. You should be able to find him there. But you're already the second group of people I've seen looking for him today. He must be quite the busy man.
Oh? Who else was looking for him?
Mr. Cave was just here asking about him. You wouldn't believe how terrible their relationship is. And now you two are here. Don't tell me everyone's here looking for gossip about the sages.
No way! We're strictly here on business.
Ah, I see. Sorry, I thought maybe everyone's as interested in rumors about the sages as I am.
Al-Haytham should be around here somewhere, right? Oh, he's over there! But it looks like he might not have time for us.
Just put down that worthless book and tell me what happened in the academia.
This is not just some worthless book. Do you have any idea how difficult it is to find a physical book like this in Sumeru?
It doesn't matter. It's probably just another thing that you used your authority to get your hands on anyway. Just put it aside. Listen, I came back today only to hear that the sages have disappeared.
Oh, you sound surprised. I thought you would already know the inside story.
Would I be here asking you if I knew? You're the scribe, not me. So just tell me what you know already.
Well, I almost became a sage.
Huh?
Oh, don't sound too surprised now. You're the renowned Kaveh, light of the Ksharawar. Besides, as a master builder and craftsman, chances are you'll be appointed as a sage too.
Why do I feel like you don't really mean it?
Huh. What makes you say that?
Why, maybe it's because you've never said anything good about me before.
Yeah, well, I share a similar sentiment, and anyone who knows you as well as I do would surely do the same.
Oh, you... See? This is why I hate discussing anything with you. Your ridiculous and arrogant attitude always gets in the way.
It seems that you really can't stand my personality.
Ha! What was your first clue?
Well, then you might as well move out of my house.
Are you threatening me? Stooping to a new low, I see. Ugh. And don't change the subject. You, a sage? What a joke. The academia might as well just close tomorrow.
Are they having a fight?
Forget what's going on with the academia. Haven't you been busy with your construction project? Tell me, when are you going to build yourself a mansion?
Don't get me started. I get angry just thinking about it.
So, what great building did our master architect work on this time?
Like I need to tell you. Keep your nose out of my business.
No, I think we deserve to know. Where were you when Sumeru needed you most?
I was in the desert for a large project, but considering Haravatat's utter ignorance of architectural and aesthetic matters, you probably wouldn't understand. Which is truly unfortunate. I can only pity the man who doesn't understand the first thing about beauty and romance. Unlike a true... Hold on, wait a second. What do you mean by when Sumeru needed me most?
Well, while you were out fiddling around in the desert, many people came together to save Sumeru from a crisis.
Ha! And you think I'd believe that?
Look, all you really need to know is that Azar and all his accomplices have all been overthrown.
Huh? What nonsense are you talking about?
It's no skin off my nose if you don't believe me. It's not like my Darshan was the one trying to apply for funding from the Grand Sage.
You know what? I'll ask around. I'm sure someone knows what's going on here. You're dead if I find out you're lying to me.
Oh, it's you two. What's the matter?
We're running some errands for Nilu. Have you received her letter?
Letter?
Nilu said she sent out a letter inviting everyone to a celebration feast in 2 days at the Grand Bazaar. We'll also be celebrating Zaino's reinstatement as General Mahamatra.
If she addressed the letter to all Hatham of the Academia, then the letter should have gone to my office. I've been busy these days, so I haven't had time to check for any new mail at my office. I only now have some free time to attend to personal matters.
Have you always been so busy with your work?
Of course not. I'm only busy these days because several sages have been dismissed recently and the whole Academia was practically turned upside down.
Kainari told us they all went to train in the Avidia Forest. Apparently they will spend the rest of their lives there.
That is already the best possible ending for the likes of them. 4 of the 6 great sages were possessed by their desire for power and attempted to create a new god. In order to pull it off, they even imprisoned the other 2 rational sages. To imagine such things could take place in the Academia.
Yeah, you're right. Huh. Feels kind of strange to hear them called that after all this time. But then again, the 6 great schools sounded pretty impressive too.
Yes. At least, that's how they're supposed to sound. It's said that when the Academia was first founded, the Dendro Archon herself established the 6 great schools, each representing one of the 6 different types of wisdom. Numerous Darshans have sprung up and faded. Only the 6 Darshans attaching themselves to the 6 great schools have stood the test of time and obtained permanent seats in the Academia. Now, the 6 Darshans are nearly synonymous with the 6 great schools, and the leaders selected for the schools are the 6 great sages. Among the 6 great sages, there is one central leader, the Grand Sage. Unfortunately, only the sages from Vahumana and Amorta remain now. They were imprisoned for opposing Azar and were only rescued after Azar's downfall.
So who's managing things in the other 4 schools now? Do they need to find someone new?
Yes. Normally, new sages are selected based on a strict set of criteria.
Oh, didn't you just say something about becoming a sage? If they pick you, then we'd have a huge connection in Sumeru.
Yes, about that. You didn't let me finish my sentence. The person in charge of personnel affairs nominated me to be the Grand Sage in place of Azar and help Lesser Lord Kusanali manage the Academia. But I refused.
Huh? But why? Can't you be a little more ambitious?
I'm not even interested in being one of the 6 great sages. Like I said before, I don't like being a leader.
Oh, all right. So are you busy these days trying to find others to take the job?
That's not my job either. I'm only responsible for handling important affairs within the Academia before the new sages take office. And the first thing I'll do is reject Kasharawar's application for funding.
By the way, who was that other person just now? Is he your friend?
Do we look like friends?
Paimon doesn't know. That's why Paimon's asking.
His name is Kaveh, my roommate. You could say he's the representative for Ksharawar scholars, which is exactly why he always has so many problems.
So everything that's happened recently must be a huge change for the people of Sumeru.
Such is the work of the Academia Scribe.
Well, anyway, no matter how busy you are, since you are our planner, remember to attend the celebration feast in 2 days.
All right, I'll see you there. The House of Dana is the last quiet place in the whole Academia now. I was originally planning to stay here a little longer, but there's a chance that Kaveh might show up again. Tuh, what a nuisance. I'd better go somewhere else.
This is Port Ormos. Now where could...
Is that Paimon I hear?
Huh?
Oh, it's been a while. How are you doing?
Dunyarzad! It's been so long
I'm doing well. I can go as far as saying I have never been happier in my entire life. I don't know if you've heard, but Elazar has completely disappeared, and all the patients have recovered.
You kidding? Knowing them and the connections they've got, I'm sure they've heard about it.
Yeah!
That's right. My lady is feeling better now, so I'm accompanying her for a walk.
Why do you still call me that, Dia? You've already informed my father of your resignation.
I guess I'm just used to calling you my lady.
Resignation?
Yeah, I might start losing my edge if I keep being a bodyguard for the Homayanis.
You know that my parents and I are fond of you, and that we appreciate you very much. It wouldn't be a problem if you wish to continue to be our bodyguard.
I'm not a woman that's easily persuaded. You should know that by now, my lady. When I took this job, I had already decided that I'd quit as soon as you'd recovered. It's time for me to get back out there and chase that horizon.
So what are you gonna do now if you're not gonna be a bodyguard anymore?
I want to take a risky job and put my body to the test again.
Huh? But we literally just finished one of the most dangerous jobs ever! Are you getting bored already?
I know. If I hadn't joined in that plan with you, I wouldn't have come up with this idea. I guess I still get fired up by that feeling of going all out in a fight. It made me realize that I'm still a mercenary through and through. Life is short, and I'm happy that I got to be a part of that operation. But the whole thing also made me realize that there are still many problems in Sumeru. And as a desert dweller, I'm still not completely ready to settle down on this side of the wall.
Well, I remember a friend had someone bring you a message.
You mean I'll hate them? I didn't expect him to still remember that. I thought he was joking.
We just came from talking with Alhaitham at the Academia.
Did he tell you that he suggested that I come work at the Academia?
What?
I heard that Azar and his cronies fell from power, and Alhaitham told me that now was a good time to find a job in the Academia, but only if I wanted to.
Whoa. Paimon can't see you being anything other than a mercenary.
Me neither. But I think Dia would look great dressed up as a scholar.
Ugh, forget about it. I wouldn't last 10 seconds in there. Alhaitham probably just liked the way I worked and knew I'm good in a fight, so he suggested I find some work in the Academia.
But you know, if you take him up on the offer, Sino might actually agree and let you become a Matra. Because you're super amazing!
The Matra have all the talent they need as long as they have Sino. I prefer to be free to live however I choose. In fact, I chose this job from the very start because I knew it'd be right up my alley.
Even if being a mercenary means facing all kinds of danger.
A lion has to return to the wild sooner or later. If anything, being your bodyguard has been unfamiliar territory for me.
I don't want to see you go, but I'll respect your decision.
I'm glad to hear you say that. Come on, no need for the sad face. It's not like we'll never meet again. Once the whole Dendro Archon thing is settled, everything in Sumeru will take a turn for the better. That makes me happy too. But a peaceful society will probably mean less demand for mercenaries like me. Before long, we'll be a dying breed. So I'd better get to work while I still can.
Huh? But wait a second! You make it sound like you're leaving now!
Well, no, not yet at least. I promised my lady I'd stick around until next week.
So, have you been in Port Ormos this entire time? We were wondering if you had received a letter from Nilu.
Oh, did Nilu write to us?
She heard that you were seen in Port Ormos, so she sent the letter here.
Huh. It was probably sent to the inn that we're staying at. My lady has been very energetic lately and keeps taking me on hikes, staying out even into the night. By the time we get back, the receptionist is usually off napping on the job.
Right, and we tend to leave quite early in the morning, so the old man on duty is also usually dozing off.
So what it really sounds like is that the person on duty is always asleep.
I bet the letter's at the reception desk. I'll go check later.
No wonder there wasn't a reply. You never received the letter. Good thing Nilu asked us to come and check on that.
Sorry to make you two come all the way out here.
It must be something important for Nilu to specifically write to us like that.
Yes, she said they were preparing a victory feast in the Grand Bazaar, and will also be celebrating Sino's reinstatement as General Mahamatra. She was hoping you could come.
Great! I'll be sure to attend.
Count me in too. But is there some sort of dress code or anything for the feast? Can I just show up looking like this?
Since it's being organized by Nilu, I don't think she'll be too picky about that. If anything, I think she wants to see us as our most natural selves.
All right, then this is how I'll show up.
The feast will be held in 2 days, so don't forget.
Sure.
Thank you so much for letting us know. We'll see you there.
Oh, by the way, do you happen to know where Sino and Raman are?
The General Mahamatra always comes and goes without a trace. Normally no one knows his whereabouts.
Oh.
But last time we met, he mentioned that he had something to do in Aru village. You can try your luck there. As for Raman, your guess is as good as mine. I only remember he said that he had something to discuss with Sino. You can ask Sino when you meet him. Don't mention it. You'd better get going.
All right, on to our next stop.
After recovering from Elazar, everything seems so different to me. When I look at the scenery I visited before, it has a completely different feeling.
Yeah. You need to be stronger than an ox to take life by the horns.
I think I've heard you say something like that before. But today, I finally understand what you mean.
Is there any place you'd like to go? I can accompany you.
What if I tell you that I want to go to the desert?
Fine by me. If we go to the desert, I can introduce you to my friends there. But we should prepare and get everything we need before setting off.
Let's go! I'll go pack my luggage now. After we're done with the feast in 2 days, we can go have fun in the desert.
You can count me in.
Time to go. Into the wind.
Traveler, it's good to see you again. Sino said you were resting in Gandharvaville for some time. How are you feeling now? Good to hear. I'm happy that you've returned safe and sound. Thanks for all that you've done. The villagers won't be exaggerating when they say heroes once passed through our village. If you ever have time, please come visit Haru Village again. I still want to go hunting with you.
Hey, and Mora, or trade anything you own.
Time to go.
It's been a while since we last visited Aru Village. Ah, there's Sino!
What brings you here?
We recovered well, and Tanari agreed to let us leave, so now we're out and about again.
It seems Gandharvaville's medical treatment is still as good as ever.
And Tanari is recovering well, too.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, you're the one who brought us to him when we lost consciousness, right? Thanks for that.
You're welcome. Tainari has excellent medical skills, and Kale is quite attentive. It was the best place for you.
But why are you just standing here like a dead tree?
I'm meeting some people.
Oh, you mean Candace?
I've already talked with Candace and the village chief. They're still at the usual place. You can go there if you'd like to see them. But you know one of the people I'm meeting as well.
Oh, by King Deshret's blessing, my friend suddenly appears in the desert. Don't tell me you've run into trouble and need us to help now.
Roman! And, Sataria?
Oh, you know me?
Oh, well, you're pretty famous in the academia.
Don't worry, these are our friends. No need to be so guarded.
I see.
I'm doing well. Many good things have happened recently.
Same here. Really, I feel that my whole life has started to shine after suddenly finding a new direction.
Oh, tell us everything.
Yeah, you go ahead.
All right, well, I suppose I should start by saying I've decided to leave the academia.
What?
It's not that I've given up on being a scholar. Instead, you could say I've found a new identity. I will no longer pursue research like a typical scholar, but I have not completely given up on my relationship to knowledge either.
I can see what you're saying now.
What do you mean?
I plan to leave the academia and return to teach here in the desert.
Wow, so you want to become a teacher?
Sataria will return to support education here and teach people from the desert. She can't teach everyone on her own, but there are many of us Eremites all over Sumeru. She came to discuss a collaboration with me and hoped that I could bring her ideas to the Eremites.
Yes, it's my hope that the Eremites can help me select a group of smart people with the best aptitude for teaching. I'll teach them, and after they've finished learning from me, they can go educate more people. That is the true meaning of education and the spreading of knowledge.
The people of King Deshret suffer from sandstorms, exile, and ignorance. Miss Sataria is more than welcome to come teach here. Her arrival is like a star shining in the desert night. The stars have always guided caravans, thieves, soldiers, and travelers who get lost in the night. They lead those in the dark out of trouble and back to safety.
Oh, please. Where's all of this coming from? I'm starting...
You deserve these compliments. Mercenaries are accustomed to danger and don't fear death, which is why we recognize extraordinary actions that common people would easily overlook.
Sataria's idea will bring much good to many people.
At first, I feared it was destined to fail. Everyone knows that the academia doesn't allow scholars to teach in the desert without permission. As you know, all knowledge is under their surveillance and control, and very few desert dwellers are as lucky as me. But what I heard at that time has been haunting my heart, as if there were lightning bolts constantly bombarding my soul. Sataria, you tread a treacherous path, and the longer you ignore it, the tighter the academia's grasp on you will become. Sataria, why haven't you gone home? never forget that the desert that belongs to you lies elsewhere.
Miss.
These words sparked something in me, and I knew that I had to bring something back to my people after going home. I gathered up the courage to approach the Grand Sage, only to find that he was no longer at the Academia. Lord Sino told me that Azar didn't belong there anymore.
Azar has received much-needed punishment. Though, if you ask me, it may have been too light. You probably have already heard.
Lord Sino helped me obtain permission to leave the Academia for the desert, and accompanied me here to discuss collaboration with members of the Eremites. My plan was able to go smoothly thanks to him and Rahman.
Doing so much for the desert.
Aside from that, I also have some other business to discuss with Sino.
Lesser Lord Kusanali has allocated many resources to support and develop the desert. I've done some business for her, and part of it required the assistance of the Eremites. I applied for a few batches of educational materials from the Academia, and sent them to several groups in the desert, as instructed by Lesser Lord Kusanali.
That's exactly what the people here need. Physical books and other related items. If it weren't for Sino and Lesser Lord Kusanali, I'm afraid we'd never be able to get our hands on them.
Apart from this, the Academia is also recruiting scholars that are willing to teach in the desert. I'll let you and Sataria know as soon as I have any more news. We must be persistent about this, and maintain these resources to ensure long-term effectiveness.
This is the first time in hundreds of years we've had a glimmer of hope. Remember these words. Here lies our faithful priest, Kasala. His wisdom is a miracle among the people, deserving of high praise and admiration. I hope people with wisdom like that priest will rise again among the desert dwellers. Then we'll once again see the wisdom and glory that once shook the world.
Enough about us. Are you here to discuss some business too?
No, not at all. We're actually here on behalf of Nilu. Nilu wanted to write to everyone, but she wasn't sure where the letters should be sent, so she asked us to come find everyone personally. A celebration feast will be held in 2 days at the Grand Bazaar. She hopes that all of you will be able to attend. At the feast, we'll also be celebrating Sino's reinstatement as General Mahamatra. Although, judging from your appearance, it seems you've already been reinstated. Paimon thought you would only start working for the Academia after the feast.
Celebration? Feast? It's the first I've heard of it.
Tainari was right. He really didn't know.
This feast is for you, Sino. Sounds to me like you'll have to be there.
It's rare to see that kind of expression from Lord Sino. You must not like feasts very much.
No, not really. But I'll go.
Well, I still have a lot to handle here. Besides, I need to look after Miss Sataria in the desert, so I'll have to pass.
I'm afraid I won't be able to join you. Although, if you'd be so kind, please give a message to Miss Nilu for me. The message is, I'm sorry for how I treated you before, but now I understand the beauty of your dance. It's like a light shining in the sky. You and the art you symbolize are not only beautiful, but also lively and powerful, so much so that it was prohibited. Please keep dancing, and someday I'll be able to appreciate your art in person.
Okay, we've got all that down. Our job here is complete as well. Oh, Sino, remember, party's in 2 days. Make sure you're there.
Got it.
Anyway, our preparation has been going smoothly these days. Can such good things really be happening in the desert?
Yes. Even if you can't bring yourself to believe it, you should at least believe in those of us who are working hard to make it a reality.
Indeed. Take it one step at a time. There is still a long journey before you.
What heartwarming words.
Time to go.
Everybody's already here. Looks like we're the last ones to arrive.
I'm here.
Ah, there you are.
Well, look who finally decided to show up.
You look like you came here immediately after finishing up some work. I'm very...
But we're not late, are we? It's just that everyone else arrived ahead of time.
I propose that the last one who arrived be put in charge of today's speeches.
Nah, there won't be any speeches today.
Oh, really? Well, even better.
Come join us over here. Let's share some great food and drinks, and chat about all sorts of fun things.
Everything looks quite good.
Wow! Paimon can't wait! Traveler, just look at all the delicious food here! Whoa! It's so delicious! Oh, this grilled meat tastes amazing!
The food was specially prepared for you by everyone in the Grand Bazaar. And we have gifts that were sent by the residents of Sumeru City when they heard we were holding a feast. Everyone that came said that you saved Sumeru and wanted me to thank you all on their behalf.
Ah, feels kinda nice to be seen as a hero. I could get used to this.
Being a bodyguard is also a hero's job. You've always been amazing, Dia.
My lady sure has a way with words. Thanks. I'm glad to hear it.
And I'm happy to meet everyone that participated in the great plan.
Don't mention it.
Come to think of it, we've really done something impressive together. It's unbelievable.
We owe it to our abilities. And luck.
Really? Why do I remember everybody thinking that luck was against us and feeling like we hardly had a chance of succeeding?
That's how I remember it too.
It's luck that brought us together, and it was luck that let us form a team. Then, it took even more luck for us to formulate a plan and implement it successfully. Moreover, judging from the results, everything worked out well.
Yeah, everyone gave it their all when it mattered most. It was almost like a performance. We took the stage and put on our best show. Everyone played their part, and thanks to everyone's efforts, the performance was a great success.
So, would you say we're good actors too?
It's such a blessing that Lesser Lord Kusanali was able to return to power at the Academia.
Yes, even after being abandoned and neglected so many times, she's finally returned. Uh-huh. Lesser Lord Kusanali once used all her power in a great disaster, which resulted in her losing all her wisdom and memories of the past. This should be something everybody should remember. Huh? You look surprised. I didn't say anything wrong, did I?
No, everything you said is correct.
That's good.
Something wrong?
Yeah, what's with that face? You knew all of this already.
Even if those two giants of the Academia are here, I still have to say it. Those sages really have some nerve. 500 years ago, Lesser Lord Kusanali used all her power for the people of Sumeru. And what did they do in return? If you bite the hand that feeds you, don't act surprised when it turns into a knuckle sandwich, right, Sino?
Perhaps I shouldn't say this, but their treatment of Lesser Lord Kusanali calls for a more severe punishment.
You could simply tell Lesser Lord Kusanali that you wish to have Azar and his accomplices severely punished.
I respect our deity's decision and won't interfere in any way. While we're on this topic, why didn't you accept the Academia's invitation to become the Grand Sage?
Are you trying to say that I'm fit to be a sage?
Not at all. But every person handling the selection process has said that you are the most suitable candidate to lead the Academia right now.
Why? Because he dethroned Azar from power?
Could you try to put it another way? This is a good thing, yet you're making it sound like I overthrew Azar for my own personal gain.
But seriously, though, I always wondered if you had some personal motives behind it.
I did have my own motive, but it had nothing to do with being a sage. If the rules of our nation were suddenly cast by the wayside, then it wouldn't be long until chaos ensued. I had no intention of letting their dreams disrupt my life.
By that, you mean your life working as the Academia's scribe?
Precisely.
Wait, is that all?
So, that's the only reason why you joined us and came up with all those plans?
It's reason enough.
You've certainly got quite the personality.
You flatter me.
All right then. How about you? You've already resumed work as the General Mahamatra, right?
That's right.
Will you be happy with that life?
It's not about being happy. There are merely a lot of things that I must do.
Even so, keep your spirits up and try to be happy, okay? And try to smile more every day, just like I'm doing now.
Thank you. I'll keep that in mind.
I seldom participate in such lively gatherings, but the atmosphere here is quite good. No, this gathering today has a unique meaning. The Grand Bazaar is lively because the people here feel happiness from the bottom of their hearts, unlike the farces at the Academia. That happiness is an emotion that'll be forever alien to those bookworms who have driven themselves insane by studying. I seem to have taken both keys when I left the house. Oh well.
My lady, the grilled meat over there is delicious. Have you tried it?
Yes, I also tried some fruit just now. Oh, they're very sweet. What an amazing place to relax. No wonder everybody likes to rest at the Grand Bazaar.
You said it. Oh, look who else is here.
Hello. Oh, I'm so happy Nilu invited everybody. Oh, now I have the chance to meet all the heroes.
Hey, less of that polite chit-chat and more eating and drinking. The feast is about having fun, not stuffy formalities.
There you are, traveler. Well, how is it? Are you enjoying the feast today? If there's anything you're unhappy with, just let me know. That's good. It's the first time I've ever invited so many exceptional people to one place. I was a little nervous myself. You see, every guest here is quite extraordinary. It's unbelievable that we've got everyone together here. Almost like a fairy tale. Make sure you live it up tonight. I'll be happy as long as you're enjoying yourselves. I'm honored to have her think of me this way. If I have a chance in the future, I would really like to invite her to one of my performances. I can't explain why, but I just feel elated right now. Thank you.
The atmosphere here is good, and everything is delicious. I don't often come to such places, but it feels quite good. I have a lot to handle these days. Otherwise, I could show you around. There's always next time. More This feast is pretty good. I like it.
Hey, what's wrong? Your head is starting to droop. Hey, you can't just fall asleep here. Paimon will go find something delicious for you to eat. You'll wake up once you've put something yummy in your tummy. Of course, just wait here for Paimon. It's me. You may blame me for being a bit too self-indulgent. I was thinking about talking with you, and the next thing I knew, I had made a connection with you. The connection between us is amazing. It's like flora and the fence it grows upon. I heard there's an amazing celebration feast today at the Grand Bazaar. I wanted to have a look for myself, so I snuck in. Lately, I've been so busy dealing with all the fallout from recent events, so I really haven't had any free time. Although you've already helped me with a lot, there's still one more thing I hope you can help me with. Please say thank you to everyone for me. Is it not convenient for you to do that for me? But if I just show up all of a sudden, people will become all quiet and stiff, won't they? What if I end up scaring them and ruining this wonderful feast? That'd be the last thing I want. Let me think about it. Okay. Yes, I have. You said I should go thank everyone as myself, right? So, I've decided to borrow your body for the time being. Please don't blame me. The flora also climbs up to the fence to get closer to the sky. Everyone! Are you awake now? Paimon was just about to bring you the food. It's me. Huh? That voice. Nahida?
Hold up. What's going on?
I didn't expect to have a conversation with the consciousness of Lesser Lord Kusanali in the Grand Bazaar. Interesting. Is this also a part of the feast?
No, of course not. Are you Lesser Lord Kusanali?
Hello, Nilu.
You know who I am?
Yes, I already know every one of you. Nilu, Alhaitham, Sino, Dia, Paimon, and Dunyarzad.
Lesser Lord Kusanali?
I took the liberty of occupying the traveler's body so that I could thank all of you in person. Thank you so much for rescuing me, even if that meant placing your own safety in peril and taking the risk of becoming enemies with the academia, the sages, the doctor, the balladeer, and even the entirety of Sumeru. Without you, without any of you, I would have been in a much more difficult situation. Had you not helped me to resolve the crisis, not only I, but Sumeru and even the entirety of Tevat would have suffered great misfortune. People refer to you as the heroes who managed to rescue a god. I'm quite fond of this name. It not only explains your identities, but also bears witness to your relationship with me. Please, allow me to present to you my most sincere gratitude.
Lesser Lord Kusanali, you have done so much for Sumeru, and I didn't even have a chance to do anything for you.
Dinyarzad, the suffering you endured during your illness is also proof of you being with me and praying for me. Thank you.
You don't need to be so ceremonious. It's always been my duty to protect you.
This is how the relationship between the Academia and Dendro Archon should be. We just did what was necessary and set things back on the right path.
You're an Archon, but you act so humble. You really don't need to be so polite with us.
I'm honored to have been able to take part in this plan. I hoped you liked the dance I dedicated to you.
Thank you, all of you. Thank you so much. Yeah. Are you awake? Did you rest well? After Nahida left, you ate a lot of food. You've become a glutton. That just means you still have a lot to learn from Master Paimon, the Sage of Gluttony. All right, since you're awake now, should we go and have a chat with Nahida? She should be in the Academia right about now. If you have any questions, now's your chance to ask. Hello, Traveler and Paimon. What a fantastic night. I'm still immersed in all the happiness and joy, like a candle floating on water. So are we, and that's why we're here to talk with you. Is there anything you want to know? After recent events, the Akasha can no longer function as it used to. I've given it some thought, and have decided to shut it down permanently. But this is definitely not a bad thing. Even from the beginning, I've been planning to shut it down. The Akasha's centralized administration of knowledge has always restrained people's curiosity and curtailed the number of paths available to them. I don't think this is good for Sumeru. Although people may initially feel a little uncomfortable with the loss of the Akasha, they will soon understand that this life is more suitable for them. And as for the future of Sumeru, I'm preparing to regain control of the Academia. The former sages have received their punishment, but the new sages have yet to be selected. I will oversee the process personally. I hope that the new 6th grade sages will be more focused on academics. Sumeru needs such leaders more than ever. The other big issue is the people of King Deshret. All the residents of the desert, in fact. They have been mistreated for far too long. I've already taken some measures to address this. It will take some time to rebuild everything, but no matter if it's culture, friendship, or trust, we will rebuild it. You mean, what happened after the doctor put you to sleep? Not exactly. The top-ranked Fatui Harbingers, up to number 3, possess power comparable to that of gods. I was no match for him in that kind of situation. However, in spite of the bad situation, I still managed to make a fair deal with the doctor. I'm sure you remember the entity that changed your fate, the Heavenly Principles. In fact, the Heavenly Principles has been quiet since the Conria disaster 500 years ago. I used this point as leverage against the doctor. I told him that the heavenly principles may be awakened if I destroy the Gnosis. Although it was just a bluff, he still fell for it. I assumed that the heavenly principles wouldn't just stand by and let such extensive damage to its laws take place. And as for what I exchanged for the Gnosis, the exchange served as both punishment for the doctor as well as a boon of new knowledge that I couldn't refuse as the god of wisdom. He's still in a coma. I've hidden him like how one would hide a feather. I know you have many misgivings about him, but as someone who had become a god, he has retained a number of very useful features. Don't worry, I'll keep an eye on him and make sure he doesn't do any evil. In addition, there are still some mysteries left in him. Some things may be very clear from my perspective, but he is still yet to understand them himself. His future will be determined by fate. Is that where you're headed next? Fontaine, the nation of justice? As far as I know, that nation operates in a judicial system.
Does their Archon personally judge people?
No, there's a Chief Justice in Fontaine. Generally speaking, the Hydra Archon, Focalor, won't preside over individual trials. However, even then, Focalor will still make herself present at just about every trial. It seems that she just likes to immerse herself in that sort of atmosphere. As Archon, she still reserves the right to influence the final verdict. Anyway, let's just say she's got, a very unique personality. Are you sure? Isn't there something else you haven't asked about yet?
Huh? You mean...
About your sister. While you were resting at Gandharvaville, I took some time to perform an Irminsul search for information on your sister.
Yeah, isn't Irminsul a repository for all the information and memories of Teyvat? So there shouldn't be anything on him or his sister.
This is true in your case. Irminsul indeed does not have any information on you. However, there must be something different about your sister. Because, as it turns out, the world has recorded information on her after all.
What?
There is only one possible explanation. She belongs to this world.
But nothing about this makes any sense! Wasn't this your first trip to Teyvat?
According to the records I was able to access, your sibling suddenly appeared in Conria. After the Conria disaster, she began her journey through the 7 nations of Teyvat. But just as her journey was about to reach its conclusion, the Irminsul records on her suddenly become fuzzy.
What do you mean, fuzzy? Did something happen to her?
All I know for sure is that somebody, for reasons only they can know, is deliberately obfuscating her fate. And whoever it is, if they can do that, who knows what else they're capable of.
But even that wouldn't explain how she somehow comes from this world.
Something else I noticed was that according to these records, the Fatui have not classified your sibling as one of the Descenders.
What's a Descender? Paimon's never heard of it.
Look, I'm sure you must be curious about the information I received from the Fatui in return for my Gnosis, right? A very important part of the intel was about this world's Descenders. External beings, ones that don't belong to this world. Traveler, you are Teyvat's 4th Descender.
Huh? So the Fatui count 3 other Descenders before the Traveler? And his sister isn't even one of them?
That's right. My current hypothesis is that the first Descender was likely what we now call the Heavenly Principles. As for the other Descenders, I still need to verify their existence.
Paimon's head's about to burst from all this crazy new information.
And yet, even knowing all this, I'm sure you must still have a lot of unanswered questions. I must say, I truly regret that I can't help you more as the god. There are many questions in my heart as well. I will need some time to go through each one of them. And soon, you'll also begin your journey anew and depart from Sumeru. I'm very interested in your future. It's a journey that can't be observed or recorded by this world. If fate is the ultimate knowledge, then your future will be the ultimate fate.
I'm sure glad we got to meet you, Nahida.
The pleasure is all mine. I can't thank you enough. Alright, that's enough talk for today. If you ever miss me, just close your eyes, and maybe I'll appear in your dreams.